Hey everyone, this is CA Lessons, and today we're going to be covering Let It Be by the Beatles. Let's get started. Alright, so the first step is to identify the four chords in the song. We have a G major, and I'm using the 4-finger G major, so my pinky and my ring are on the 3rd fret of the 1st and 2nd string. I'm going to transition to D major. Next would be E minor. And the last chord would be C major. Okay, so those are our 4 chords. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So now that we have our 4 chords down, our G, our D, our E minor, and our C, let's talk a little bit more about the transitions and how we can go back and forth a little bit quicker. So by using this 4-finger G chord, what's going to happen is you're going to use a concept called the anchor finger. Now what that means is there's a common finger between both of these chords, and it's going to be our ring finger in this case. So if we go from G to D using the ring finger, we're just kind of going to bring our 1st and 2nd finger down and lift the pinky up as we go to the D chord, right? So you can see that's a little bit easier than having to pull your entire hand off and go to the next chord while forming it in the air, right? Because it's a bit difficult. So let's go anchor finger. Now, I would recommend for this song using the E minor 1st and 2nd finger, right? It makes it a little bit easier to get to the E minor from the D, but also when you're transitioning from E minor to C, you can use the same concept of the anchor finger. Again, you're going to have that middle finger common between the two, right? So we go from the E minor, just going to bring that ring finger down, 1st finger down, ring finger up. Okay, so we have leave the ring finger for D. I would come up for the E minor. I would actually leave my ring finger sort of to give me some stability if I was at the beginning stages going back to the E minor. Then I lift the ring finger. Then I'm going to go to the C chord. Now the hardest transition is from C to G, right? So what you're going to do is when you go back to the G chord, make sure that your 1st and 2nd finger are what comes down first. That's the part of the guitar that's going to be struck first, the lower strings. So it makes more sense to build it with the 1st and 2nd finger as opposed to the 3rd and 4th and then trying to get those up there, right? Okay, so that concludes these 4 chords and what they are in the song. Let's move to the actual strumming pattern, right? So we've now covered the chords and how to best transition between them. So the strumming pattern is a combination of quarter notes and 1/8 notes. So it's going to work like this. We have this pattern of 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. So that looks like this on a G chord, let's say. I'm going down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Now, here's the tricky part. To make it a little bit easier, what I would do is actually transition on the upstroke. So if we're going from G to D, it would look like this. So we have G, down, transition, so that means you're going to be hitting open strings in between the chords. So if I'm going from G to D, I'm going to leave my anchor finger down on the transition, right? And that's actually going to be really helpful in terms of being able to speed this up. What you don't want to do at first is try and make that transition really quick, right? So that's me playing the actual full G chord. You can hear on the way up. Because that transition then has to be much faster than what a beginner is ready for. So by playing the open strings in between, that allows us to get our transitions a little bit faster and make something like this more accessible. Right, so on my upstroke is when I'm actually making my transition. So what I'm going to do now, just for educational purposes, I'm going to actually exaggerate the movement and pull my entire hand off so you can see where I'm making the change. So obviously I wouldn't recommend doing that, but what that does is it actually allows you to kind of see where I'm at, hopefully, so you can see where the transitions are. As far as the song is concerned, it's mostly this pattern, and I will post a link to the SoundSlice for it as well, just so you can get the interactive tab for it, which you can slow down and loop specific things. Now the only thing I will cover that the tab has is the little, I guess you can call it a turnaround, sort of. What it is we're starting on a C chord, right? And I'm stopping at the next C, which would be the first fret of the second string. So I'm picking, it's just stopping at the second string. Okay, so I'm going here. Then I'm moving my middle finger, putting that down, lifting up my ring. So the only thing that would be played is literally just your second fret. On the fifth string, same thing. So I'm stopping at the second string again, open this time. And then after that I would hit, so something like that. And that's all in the tab, of course. All downstrokes for that. That last chord is kind of like a G with my second and third finger just on the low end. Stopping at the G, open G string, right? So I will post a link to the SoundSlice for everyone to look at, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or send me an email. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Thank you.